Hi everybody, my name is Cindy Nierenberg. I'm on my journey to lose 65 pounds. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Last night when I went to bed, I had a good idea of what I was going to talk to you about today, and then I woke up and I had a completely different idea. So I checked my notes from yesterday and we're going to go forward with this today because I think this is really great information. So if you've been following along, I think this is the most important video that I have done yet. So in my life coaching studies, I follow this woman named Stacey Boehman, and she has this really wonderful and very, very easy way to evaluate what you've done in relationship to your goals or whatever you've set out to do. And it's a 3-step process that's so easy. You can use this in every area of your life. And that's to evaluate what your progress has been in these ways. So number 1, what went right? Number 2, what went wrong? And number 3, what would you do differently? So I'm going to take you through my last quarter of weight loss because I've been doing this since October the 19th was my start date. And today is January the 18th. Happy birthday, Dad, in heaven. And that's a quarter of the amount of time that I've given myself to lose 65 pounds. So in that amount of time, we're going to look at what's going right. So, your brain is automatically going to want to go to the what went wrong space first, but we're going to rein it in and we're going to look at what went right. So in my weight loss, in those 3 months, I've lost 10 pounds, and I'm really proud of that. And I know that that can seem really, really slow, and it does to me too. But when I look back at it, I've lost 10 pounds during the holidays when I always gain. I've lost 10 pounds during a pandemic, and I've lost 10 pounds, as we're going through some pretty crazy political stuff too. So I'm really, really proud of that. But my brain wants to go to a bad place. And when I do that, I have to look at, okay, I've done a lot more than just lose 10 pounds. And I really feel like this quarter, I've done the hard work of losing weight. Like I've laid the foundation. I'm laying the pavers to walk on. So I got out all of my statistics from when I started to today, and I take my measurements every Monday. I don't look at them much, to be honest with you, but I do take them. And today I got those measurements out and I looked, and I'm going to tell you about 4 areas that I'm really, really happy with. So let me check my notes here. In my chest, I've lost 2 inches. In my waist, I've lost 2.75 inches. So long, muffin top. In my hips, I've lost 1.5 inches. And then this is the one that makes me happy because I gain my weight in that saddlebag, hip and thigh area. I've lost 2.75 inches in my saddlebag area. So in those 4 areas alone, I've lost a total of 9 inches. Woo! Can we just celebrate that for a moment? And my husband the other day put his arms around me and he said, "Where are you going?" So those are great goals right there. So 10 pounds, what's going right? I've lost 10 pounds. I've lost 9 inches in those 4 areas alone. What else is going right? I've started eating a lot of salads. Pretty much I eat almost every day. I have a big salad for my lunch. That's going well because I feel like I'm getting good vegetables and I put in lots of nuts and crunchy goodness in there and healthy fats. And I feel like I'm doing something really good for myself when I eat that salad. Another thing that's going really, really well is I started exercising just for the fun of it. just for the sheer joy. Can you imagine? Like, I'm not beating myself up with exercise anymore. Exercise is not a punishment for overeating. Exercise is not something on my calendar that I have to do. Exercise is something that I get to do for pure enjoyment. And I found that I really, really love to go for long walks. So I have a walk that I do down through the canyon on a bike path. It's really pretty. And I timed it out. It's about 3 miles round trip. And it takes me a little under an hour to do that. So I'm not jogging, I'm not running, I'm just walking along at a pretty good clip. And I love it. I can listen to books on tape, I can listen to music, or I could just unplug completely and just enjoy the birds and the sounds of the area around me. So that's really, really something that's gone really, really well. And then another thing that's going really, really well is I'm beginning to identify this negative self-judgment that runs through my head all the time. And I like to think that I'm a pretty nice person, but this brain of mine is not nice to me. And I say some of the meanest things to myself. And I'm starting to identify when those things are happening, and I put a stop to it. So it's like when your kids were little and they were making a mess and you just said stop. And the kids didn't ask questions, right? They knew what you were talking about. That's what I do to my brain. Just stop. And ultimately there will come a day when I can do better and turn it around to something a little bit more positive, not necessarily an affirmation, but something that is just not so negative. But for the moment, it's good enough to just stop the behavior in its tracks. I'm really proud of that. Okay, so now my brain gets to go to the place that it wants to go to, right? Which is what's not working. All right, so here's what's not working. Binging on foods like Cheetos or Doritos, just overeating them, kind of this out of control feeling. That's not working for me. That's a behavior that I would like to put a stop to as well. But for now, with compassion, I'm just like, okay, that it is what it is. I'm identifying that behavior. That's one of the behaviors that's keeping me overweight. It's one of the behaviors that will have to change ultimately. But for now, let's just look at it and call it what it is. Zoning out on Netflix and snacking while I'm watching TV, that is not in my best interest. Like going back for another serving at dinner, that is, the extra helpings are not helping. That's funny. All right, beating myself up for what I've eaten or how I've acted is not in my best interest. And oh, here's a good one. Making fun of myself in a mean way. Like I think before I talked about having to go to the tent maker to get a new dress for myself. Is it funny? Yeah. Is it mean? Yeah. Yeah, it is. And that I need to stop that as well and just have a lot more compassion for what I'm going through. Like this is not easy, you guys. This is not something, I'm trying to make this up as I go so that it will be tailored exactly to me. I'm not following somebody else's program, eat this, don't eat that. I'm trying to make a program that will be sustainable for me for my entire life. And I would love that for you too. We're smart people. We can figure this out. We know what we want. We don't need people telling us what we need to eat and when we need to eat, what time we need to eat, how much we need to eat, right? We've got this. We just have to have the confidence that we can do it on our own. Another thing that's not working for me is being confused about weight loss. Like, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what I'm supposed to be eating. Yeah, you do, Cindy. Yeah, you do. So being confused is just a waste of time. So making decisions is much more beneficial than being confused. So that just doesn't serve me. And then lastly, I wrote down too much emphasis on the scale. Like the scale is just spitting out a number every day. Why would I allow that scale to dictate how I feel throughout the day? So those are the things that are not working. So we've looked at what's working, we've looked at what's not working. Now you can take your what's not working and almost create a to-do list out of it. Like, what do you want to turn around? So what's not working for me is all of this being mean to myself. So the way I can turn it around is just to say, stop it. Stop it. We're not doing that anymore. That's a way to turn it around. I like to think of turning things around, like what would you do differently, as leveling up just 1%. Nothing earth-shattering, just leveling up a percentage point. So one of the things that I would really like to do to level up is to create a plan for what I'm eating for the day. So for instance, we talked during the holidays. I told you when I went to my family's house for dinner, I knew exactly what was going to be on the menu, and I had planned out exactly what I was going to eat, including my Aunt Stella's dessert. I included the good and the bad foods. What's good and what's bad, who knows? But I included the foods that I knew realistically that I was going to eat. What would life look like if I did that on a daily basis? What if I took a few minutes in the morning and said, oh, this is what I want to eat for today, and then I ate exactly that. And I don't mean put some nasty food on there that you don't want to eat. Like, I'm going to have a chicken breast and some broccoli for lunch. Because no, I'm not going to eat that. And if I did eat that, I would be so dissatisfied and mad. No. So put my big healthy salad with all the goodies, all the sunflower seeds and the olives and the cheese and the egg and the dressing, all of that, but put it on my plan so that I know in advance exactly what I'm going to eat. That's what I kind of mean by leveling up. And you know what? If I wanted to have a side of French fries with that, if it were on my plan, great, go ahead and eat that. But at least I made a conscious choice to eat that food. So that's one of my level ups. And then my second level up is have more compassion for myself when I fail and when I don't follow the plan, or when I eat the bag of Cheetos that I don't want to eat. Have a little bit more compassion, not so much of the negative self-judgment, the negative self-talk, but more compassion for, yeah, you know what? You ate the Cheetos. You've been eating Cheetos and loving Cheetos your entire life. Of course you ate the Cheetos. Now let's move on. So, my friends, I think that was such good information today. Again, remember to assess what your progress has been. What went right? What's going wrong? And what would you do differently? I'm so grateful to Stacey Boehman for giving me that simple little 3-step tool to use. So have a wonderful week. All of my contact information is below. If you like what I'm saying, please like and subscribe to my videos. And I mean it when I say I do want to hear from you by email, by Facebook, however you want to communicate with me. I would love to have a dialogue with you. All right. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next week with good news.